So let's start with Ritesh Agarwal, because Oyo is the one company and hospitality is the one sector that's attracted maximum attention, and it's literally dukaan band at this moment for the entire hospitality sector and not just Oyo. So that really puts a lot of pressure on you. You had serious headwinds going into this lockdown, and now you're really having to deal with a very, very tough situation. Ritesh, give us a sense of how bad it's been and what you're doing about it.
Sure. Look, I think I always say that the travel and the hospitality industry is one of the most affected here. I'd probably imagine that within travel, the only other industry that is most impacted is probably aviation, because nobody's going to be excited to hop onto a plane as much, very similar to people not being excited about getting on a holiday now. So clearly, we are one of the most impacted sectors during these times of COVID. I do believe that it was the right decision to make the lockdown sooner rather than later, because that has ensured that the cases really did get flattish, until a few days back. Initially, in March, second week or so, we saw that the impact was roughly 10 to 15% on our global revenues. But I think over time, the impact has expanded to over 50 to 60%. And we believe may get worse. India specifically, like you said, is dukaan band. We are, of course, seeing some green shoots in China, Northern Europe, and so on. But that said, India is our home market. And at this point of time, there is a very limited business here. The second thing is, as we saw the size of revenue drop, our immediate response was to try and cut all the controllable costs like marketing, capital expenditures, and so on. And at the end, when we realized that that was not enough, I think we made the view that we would keep away from any kind of layoffs. But unfortunately, we had to announce some furloughs a couple of weeks back. I think as a follow-up to it, the second thing that was critical for us was to do right by our customers and our communities. So globally, we have opened free room nights for health workers, ensuring that we work with state and national and global, across countries. Vice President Pence talked about how Oyo has enabled free nights for all the American health workers, and similar in so many other parts of the world. And last but not the least, at this point of time, our focus is how do we ensure that as the world opens up, we provide one of the most safe experiences for customers who would like to travel in the coming times, and do right by our employees, customers, and partners to the best of efforts that we can. So that's in summary how we've seen the impact of COVID so far on our business.
So, speaking of losses, Ritesh, your firm registered losses of 335 billion in the last year. You were hoping to grow so fast that you'd become the #1 hospitality company in the world, ahead of the Marriott Group. And now you've got the virus that's infected the world. Has this led to a significant scaling down of ambition, or are you still following that Vijay credo of play big or go home?
Sure. Look, I think first off, you're right. Last financial year, we announced losses of around 335 crores. But what's important is for the last 3 years in a row, we have seen our net losses as a percentage of revenues improve by more than half for our Indian business. So there has been a clear path to improvement. But of course, I think the coronavirus, has 1 or 2 quarters or few quarters of effect in that path. We are cognizant of it. But that said, the whole reason why we've been able to grow so quickly is not just because of our aspiration. Our aspirations have been primarily because of the great response we received from our customers across the world. And our view is, to the extent we can transform our hotels from traditional hotels to Suraksha hotels, focus on the kind of new consumer bases who will look for accommodations in the future, right from weekend travel destinations, which are driving holidays rather than airline holidays. Same country, I believe that Coorg will be the new Switzerland, or Coorg will be the new Switzerland, and Goa will be the new Thailand. As if we are able to predict those trends, we believe that even though the overall market size may shrink a little bit in travel, but we believe we have a good set of opportunity to use our underlying business model and our brand proposition to our customers to be a
my question was this, that you had a plan of about 1 lakh hotel rooms in the United States. You wanted to be #1 in China. You wanted to be #1 in India, and very ambitious target in terms of expanding the size of your bouquet? Are you cutting back on that?
So, of course, I think we will have a more measured business aspiration going forward. But that said, I think at this point of time, it's very hard to predict your growth plan until the world comes back. So I think at this point of time, we are reviewing and evolving our business plan as times go. But if I were to take a long-term view, which I have always, I think in the long term, we remain confident about creating a large-scale business. And last but not the least, I think in times like these is when people look back home. I think due to that, we will focus on some of the key strategic geographies of Oyo, like India, Southeast Asia, China, Europe, and United States, and probably deprioritize some of the other geographies. Not to say we will not invest there, but we will focus on investing significantly more capital in our core markets is my view.